TFR, Truth Frequency Radio.
Good morning, TFR.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworks because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworks with Josh, Walt and Zach. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworks with Josh, Walt and Zach, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworks on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the planet. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to Space Letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to the Ironworks with Zach, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the Ironworks and become an Iron Scout.
Well, happy Tuesday to you all, and welcome to the Ironworks right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. It is Josh and Zach hanging out with our good buddy, Awesome Austin, from the self-titled channel. How you doing this morning, Austin?
What's up, guys?
What's up?
Same shit,
Oh, I
different day.
gotta wake up.
Wake up.
Wakey.
Time to make the donuts. Oh, man. So how was your weekend, Josh?
It was all right. It was uneventful, I think. Yeah, it was pretty uneventful.
Yeah, that can be a good thing.
I just kind of kept with the whole meh theme from Friday and just ran with it the whole rest of the weekend, it seems like. But overall, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It was copacetic at the very least. How about yours, Zach? How was your weekend?
It was pretty good.
Ooh.
Got to go hang out at Karen B's. And they had Zulu was driving through, and Just Jack and fam stopped in, and yeah, it was a good time.
Awesome.
Good people got to see. I love being around flat earthers.
Always a good time. How about you, Austin? How was your weekend? What'd you end up doing?
Not much.
Right on.
Not much. We got some big plans today. Gonna go me and Chris Vickery, and I think Shelly's gonna show up. I'm gonna put and I'm gonna send out a notification through Dave's app. But there's a lake out here by my house. Tommy let me borrow the P900. We're gonna go do some observations over water, and then later in the day, my wife's gonna cook for all of us, and then we're gonna go out by my sister's house where it's really dark, and we're gonna get some good footage of the moon and stuff like that.
Nice. That sounds like fun.
I want you to try something.
Yeah.
Because I was all about taking pictures and optics and vision when I first started all this stuff. Take some pictures, shooting nice and horizontal, to where the image you're shooting will be at the center of your field of view of your camera. But then take some and take that field of view, and whatever you're shooting at, line it up near the bottom of your field of view in the camera. I will almost guarantee you will see more when you tilt it up a little bit. Because your center of view is where all the diffraction takes place on the camera. It's at the center of that lens is where you're going to have the most distortion. So if you tilt that up and put that above, like up in the skyline or above the skyline, you can see more of the buildings along the bottom.
So in your viewfinder on the camera, put the horizon at like the bottom half of the viewfinder.
Okay.
Yeah. Or the top. I mean, as long as it's not in the center, and you will get a better resolution that way.
Oh yeah. All right, I'll do that.
Yeah, just a little trick.
I've been watching hella tutorials on this P900. It's an amazing camera. It's an amazing camera. I'm like right up on the moon, dude. I'm like, oh man, this is crazy.
Just imagine if those First Amendment auditors were out there carrying P900s. Think of the zoom shots they could get.
I know, isn't it? Those P900s are heavy, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought a nice tripod for him. I'm gonna send back with him. Chris has a tripod too. This is infrared. This camera.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The whole infrared. Now, is it the infrared where you put the filter on it in the infrared works, and then you could take it off and use it as a regular camera as well?
No.
I see. Bob has a P1000 that's set up like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
When you take it off, yeah, the focus, the autofocus, it kind of messed with that a little bit. So you might have to manual focus, but it's really neat. Yeah, I have to put a infrared filter on it, and I can shoot IR. But all you have to do is take the filter off, and you can still take really nice pictures with it. Regular pictures, even. I'll ask him to see who did that for him.
Yeah, maybe he's usually in the chats. Maybe he'll let us know. Because I'm not really sure. I'm learning as I go with this camera because I've been watching all these tutorials with it.
Yeah, I have a book on it, actually.
There's so much that comes with this camera I didn't realize. Like, wow.
Oh, it's ridiculous how much. Yeah, the book is like 180 pages or something like that. It's a big book.
Yeah.
But it teaches you how to use every function on the P900. See, I have the P610, but it's the exact same as the P900. It's just smaller.
Right.
They took all the bells and whistles from the P900, and it was the original is called the P600. Of course.
Yeah. When I was looking it up, they were
updated version.
Yeah, the 610 came up as like the top. They were listing like the three cameras as I was looking into it, and the 610 was one of them. They were P1000, P900, then the 610 or something like that.
Yeah, the 610, it's got a 60 by zoom, and it weighs half as much as the P900. That's why I got the P610.
Yeah, it's a heavy camera.
Yeah, you think, oh, it's only 2 pounds. That's not that bad. Well, yeah, you go take 2 pounds and strap it around your neck and go walk around for a couple hours.
Right.
That thing gets heavy, yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. That should be fun.
Yeah, it's just
good weather.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. It's supposed to rain and it's cold, so I don't know. But it being our first attempt, it's my first attempt at my own observation. So there'll be more to come. Like we're already eyeing Tampa Bay, down by his place. There's a spot that's 7 miles across. But I think
I've shot from there. I have shot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can see the bridge.
Nice, Stacy.
Tampa Bay Bridge from a distance away.
I just want it so like I can say, what? Yeah, I have tested it actually. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I did it too. You know, I've seen 1,000 of them before I went and did my first one.
Right.
But
Right.
I can say it. Yes, I've done it. I've, you know, calculated how much should have been missing at this distance and took pictures that I saw, you know.
Seeing objects that should be hidden by Earth curve.
Yeah, like way under the curve, like 700 feet underneath a curve.
Speaking of curves, did you watch David Weiss's interview yesterday with Killer Priest?
No.
Wu-Tang last night. Karen B was on too. Man, dude, it was a really good one, man. Bro Sanchez came on to help tag team them and stuff, and there was like over 1,000 people in the chat. And it was great. It was huge flat smack. And then you need to go back and listen to it, because this guy, it was so funny. He's arguing for the ball side. Now he's trying to call flat earthers stupid, because I couldn't believe he was saying this, but he's like, yeah, water is level. I get it. The surface of water is flat, but you guys aren't doing it right. You're measuring the surface of the earth or water. You need to measure the surface of the earth. So you're supposed to measure the bottom of the oceans. And they're like, what? What are you talking about? And he's like, they're like, we know, yeah, the water's flat, but the earth curves under it. And they're all like, what are you talking about? That's the dumbest shit we've ever heard. It was hilarious, dude. It was hilarious.
I love Dave is a genius at calling people retarded to their faces and laughing at them without them getting offended. He is so good at it.
He said that. He's like, listen, that was the dumbest thing I've ever fucking heard.
Oh, that's great. I'm going to have to go back and watch that one.
Karen's laughing her ass off. It was hilarious, dude. It's hilarious. He's like, Dave's like, you don't understand how long it's going to take for me to go back through this and clip out all the retarded shit that you just said.
And I love it when these types of interviews happen, because it shows how little people actually know about what they supposedly believe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or what
a couple of them were flat earthers. But there was two on the end, man. They were triggered. And then this one guy came on. Oh man, dude, you gotta go back and check it out. It was really good. It was good. I liked it. Austin, I put some super chats up for questions. Austin Witzel, he's throwing hella questions out there to him. It was really good. I guarantee that woke a lot of people up. People were in the chat at the end of the show. They're like, all right, guys, I guess we're flat earth.
I love it. Yeah. David has a gift at.
He's good at what he does, that's for sure.
That stuff. Yeah. It's that small hat magic. He carries it around with him wherever he goes.
It seems interesting, too, in this day and age, with all the other extreme things happening. Flat Earth doesn't really seem like it's that big a deal anymore. People stopping to listen doesn't seem as mentally challenging for some as it used to.
I feel like there's a paradigm shift going on, like a mass.
In the last 2 years, it's changed dramatically. Do you remember, Josh, 2015, 2016?
When it felt like you were literally standing alone?
Yeah.
Maybe you could look over.
Crazy. I thought I was possibly crazy.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Yeah, it was a genuine concern. Because there's nothing to compare it to. You can't open up to people. You don't want to share it with them just in case you are. You just kind of got to sit on it and think, all right, maybe this is just all internally. Maybe everybody else is out there living a normal life and I've just broken my brain somehow and I'm going to have to live with this for the rest of my life because of what I've done to myself.
Well, yeah, because they tell us, well, crazy people don't think they're crazy. And soon, it's like, well, shit.
Am I crazy?
Yeah, am I crazy? Is the earth really round?
To be fair, sane people don't think they're crazy too. I think it's the questioning of whether or not it is sane or not.
It's society putting that doubt in your head. The programming.
It really was.
Some people are fucking nuts.
As much as I knew it was flat right away, I still had doubts months into it. Even after researching and learning all this stuff, there was always that little thing in the back of my head saying, well, you really haven't researched enough to say, what if you're wrong? What if you just fell for something on the internet? And because I was an Nibiru guy, big time.
Oh, yeah, me too.
So I was already had my, my skeptic glasses and all that kind of stuff. I'd been prepping since 2008, thinking that the end of the world was coming by, 2009. Cammie and I were listening to something yesterday, and someone was saying how, oh, don't worry, here and, within a year, you're not going to be fat because there's not going to be any food to eat and this and that and blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, I've been hearing that for over a decade.
Yeah.
That doesn't do it for me anymore. It did make me go out and prepare and learn as much as I possibly could about, what plants I can eat, what plants I can't eat, things like that. So if that ever did come about, I could go out in the backyard and survive. Or walk down the trail, just walk through the woods and find food. So it did change me in a lot of ways. But now when I hear people say, oh, food shortages, yeah, that's like, yeah, whatever. I've heard that so long now. It doesn't worry me so much anymore like it used to. It's like hearing NASA say, oh, there's an asteroid coming to buzz the Earth.
Yeah, barely missed us. Y'all didn't see it?
Yeah, I spent all of 2012 waiting for the return, watching the skies to see the winged planet coming through our atmosphere as it approaches, right up through December. And on the 22nd of December, I was like, you know what? Fuck this. These people don't know shit. They're just telling us things. This is just Alex Jones selling shit. I will pump fear into you, provide you some sort of relief for that fear based on what I'm telling you is relief for that fear. And you can just buy it from me until I can figure out the next fear and the next reprieve from the fear that I can sell you. And then once I figure that one out, boy, then be prepared for the next Alex Jones rant to get you properly frightened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as soon as he came out for Ron Paul, as soon as he came out for the Pauls in an election and was telling people to vote, was the exact time that I threw Alex Jones right in the trash. Deleted all the apps, all the saved podcasts, all the shit that I had. He said, Alex Jones is just a fucking tool. Go vote. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think that was about the exact same time that I was like, well, this guy is just full of it. Actually, I know the exact time. It was when I saw his Bohemian Grove video. And he's sitting there talking about how he ran and got away from Secret Service people. And it was like, dude, you are so out of shape.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. You ain't run from nobody, motherfucker.
You ain't running from nobody. Don't give me that bullshit.
Not in the dark, through the woods.
Yeah.
I've tried it. It's not easy running at night through the woods.
Yeah, right? I ran from the police in the woods, and it's hard.
Yes, it is. And painful.
Yeah, it sucks.
You're not interview ready to
then
expose
you gotta hide
Moloch.
in the woods. You're not just running. You gotta hide. They're not gonna stop looking for you.
Yeah, someone caught us in our secret ritual. I guess we're just gonna...
Yeah.
Right.
How'd he get in here? Oh, he went under the fence. Ah, damn it.
Damn it.
Next time.
You tell me he was right there amongst all of it, just recording it? Yeah, what a joke.
Snuck into Bohemian Grove.
Alan Holman in chat says, I like Alex Jones. Josh makes valid points, but there are a lot of reasons why I still like Alex Jones too. There's a lot of reasons why I still appreciate that Alex Jones is there. Alex Jones was a huge stepping stone for me. No doubt about it. Opened my eyes to a lot of stuff.
For sure.
Some of his documentaries are still amongst the ones that I would recommend. His Police State series of documentaries was amazing. His documentation of Obama's militarization of the police force. When the Democrats gave the police all this power and all this money and all this control and all this equipment. Yeah, Alex Jones did a great job of documenting that. I think Alex Jones is a really good tool for opening your eyes and starting that waking up process. As long as you can.
You have to get out of that shit show after you do wake up, though, because then if you're stuck in that Alex Jones fear mongering shit show, you know, that's the whole thing. They want you to stay in there. Like, it's time to progress. Like he had his purpose. He is a tool, and you know, if you're still listening to him, I feel like on a regular basis and taking what he says, you know,
in low vibrations.
Exactly right. Yeah. All that fear mongering isn't good.
Yeah, he never really gives a good solution to anything.
Yeah, there's nothing about solutions. Well, not only that, to be honest, I feel like through my personal journey, I went from thinking that they're all trying to kill us to really all this is just the product of us being fucking lazy. You know, for example, food, right? You go into a grocery store and you go to the fruits and vegetables. You can get fruits and vegetables in one room, but you can get any vegetable from across the earth all in this one room. That's not a natural thing, right? And how can we get all these foods to these locations without going bad? Because fruit goes bad quick, right? Well, let's put some bunch of junk in these vegetables and fruits. So let's modify the seeds so the food can last longer as it travels across the fucking country to these stores, right? And then we're buying all this food and finding out there's a bunch of junk in it. And then we're like, oh, they're trying to kill us. When really, we're just giving our responsibility up to somebody else to provide food for us. And then they're hiring 18-year-olds at minimum wage that don't give a fuck. And here we are, you know? I think it just gets a lot deeper than, oh, they're all trying to kill us. I know there's people out there trying to fucking kill us, obviously. But for the most part, it's just we're lazy.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is they've found ways to make it so you can
depend on them, maybe.
Yeah, but it's like picking your fruit before it ripens. That fruit hasn't had a chance to, you know, mature and get all of that stuff into it that you need. So they pick it way before it ever becomes mature, and that stuff ripens on the boat on the way to where it's going to be sold.
Not even always that. Sometimes it's still so green that when they're shipping it to the grocery store, they ship it in trucks where they pump it full of CO2 to make it appear riper than it really is.
Bingo. One of the many little tricks they do.
Ooh, look at these nice red tomatoes. Yeah. Uh-huh. And in about 3 or 4 weeks, they're going to be tasty tomatoes too, but you're going to eat them now and they're going to taste like nothing because they're not ripe.
There's so many things, and you know, it's all for what? Money, for this, so they can have more money. You know, we throw away enough food in this country, the United States alone, to feed the whole earth.
brought on and get me started on that. When I used to work at Cracker Barrel, I used to get in arguments with the managers over the amount of food that we threw away at the end of the night. And then one day,
just the end of the night. You know, it's what,
right.
hour.
Right. And it would just piss me off because I would always say we could leave, because there's people literally sleeping behind the dumpsters. You know, I'm throwing the trash out there. There's people, I'm waking them up when I throw the bags back there and it hits the metal. It's like, there's people we could feed, and, you know, or if someone who's hungry at work were to take a bite, they'd get fired. But at the end of the night, you're going to throw it away anyways. You know, and then, but one time of the year, at during the season of giving, the one day, Christmas Eve or whatever, we will give all our leftover food to the homeless out the back door. That one day. But we're throwing everything away after that.
That's sick.
It is. Yeah. It is really disgusting. Well, I'll be damned if that's not going to bring us really close to the end of the first segment of the Ironworks here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFR.com.
Yeah, it went by fast.
It did. It's a freaking time warp in here. I don't know what it is about the show or being in the TFR vault or something. Something about it just kind of makes the time fly. Time flies when you don't know what you're doing. And boy, do we not know what we're doing. But stick around. Maybe we can figure it out on the other side of the break. And that brings us to the end of the first half of the Ironworks. We'll be back.
Number 3 is activity. Activity is what you do. So our lives, first of all, are affected by what we know. Second, our lives are affected by how we feel. Third, our lives are affected by what we do. It is so important to understand this. If you want to influence and help people, here's the key. Success is a doing. You've got to actually do it. Activity is high priority in the life process to try to get maximum benefit out of what we have available. Activity. Now, here's an important question. What is your philosophy about activity? What about hard work? What about long hours? What about full days? If you're doing something, how hard should you go at it? How much time should you put in? Everybody has to develop their philosophy about activity. Let me quote you. Old Testament says, 6 days activity, 1 day rest. That's called philosophy of ratio of activity.
Extendivite is more than just a heart tonic. Do you have any of these symptoms? Night cramps in the hands and feet. Your arms and legs often go to sleep. On short walks, do your legs get aches and pains? Is your memory worse than it used to be? Ankles that swell late in the day? Has your blood pressure increased lately? If you answered yes to even one of these questions, you may have early warning signs of arterial blockages. Your body is saying that it is time to take Extendivite. These are not the normal signs of aging. They are the warning signs that accompany blocked arteries. Get your Extendivite today. Extendivite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
We exist in the security and comfort of our worlds. Paved paths, lights, and manicured lawns give us peace of mind that our world has been tamed, and we are its master. But other worlds exist on the edge of our sight. On the edge of our awareness, the shadows move. The woods filled with the unblinking eyes of the nightmares our ancestors warned us about. Some of us have stumbled into these forgotten realms, whether on purpose or completely by surprise. I'm Brent Thomas. Join us on the Paranormal Portal Friday and Saturday nights from 10 p.m. to midnight Pacific Standard Time as we journey into the world of the paranormal phenomena.
Enter the Paranormal Portal if you dare. hate, no hype, no fear.
You're listening to Truth Frequency Radio.
We are TFR.
To you. Start your day off bright and shiny. Get up off your little hiney and begin your happy day. Time to make the donut.
Wake up! And welcome back to the second half of the first half of the Ironworks. You know where. Do I really need to say it again? Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. I'll do it just because it's a compulsion at this point. Don't know that I can not say it.
Yeah, we were talking about, how there's enough stuff made. We were talking about food, but I think we could really expand this to just about anything. I bet take any product you can think of, and I bet it is overproduced to where there's landfills where brand new products end up that have never been used, probably never even been opened, some of them. And because it's cheaper to destroy it and throw it in a landfill than to try to repackage it and resell it, that's what they do. So really, could everybody on Earth have one of everything by now? I don't know if it's gotten that drastic. But I mean, how many people need a lawnmower on the block? Really, you only need, if the block has, 20 people on it, 2 or 3 lawnmowers would probably cover that whole block. Things like that. But take clothes, for example. There are mountains, not just a mound here or there, but mountains of clothes that are shipped to South America every year. We're talking tons. I think it's 40 tons of clothes that aren't sold in Europe and the United States and parts of Asia. They all get shipped to South America, and the ones that can't sell there, they just get taken out to the desert and mounded up. And these aren't your Fruit of the Loom. A lot of these are like high-end clothing lines. And yeah, they're a couple years old now, whatnot. They haven't been sold. But still, these are shirts that people are paying $50 for in the store. And instead of giving it away to all these people that don't have any clothes around Earth, instead we'll throw it away. That's not okay for me. And it's all because of this whole idea of money. There's people that don't have clothes over there, that don't have food, don't have a pot to piss in.
Or a window to throw it out of.
Yeah. But there's other people who have 10 or 15 houses and use this one week out of the year, maybe every other year. And then these other people are dying because They don't have, warmth. I don't get that. I don't think I could ever be considered rich.
Well, what's the definition of rich? Because I feel like I'm rich as fuck.
That's what I was always told my
It's
son.
all in the eye of the beholder. You're right.
Always told my son. We may not have a lot of money, but we are rich in love.
Yeah, monetarily
That's real.
rich. I couldn't be. There's way too many people out there to help. Way too many people out there that need and they don't need you to, fix their life and give them $1 million. They just need something to eat.
Yeah, man.
Or a place to lay their head for the night. Yeah, money has turned people not human. It strips you of your humanity, that that little thing that says, hey, I should help that person. Money makes you say, but I'm going to need that later. It turned this thing, food that's perishable. Well, now I could sell that food and hold on to this money, and then I can buy food later. Something like, it's given people the ability to hoard. Even though it's nothing, in their eyes, it's still the ability to hoard and to,
The TV will tell you that money is the root of all evil. The Bible will tell you that the love of money is the root of all evil. I'm here to tell you that it's belief in money that is the root of all evil.
I would agree with that 100%.
It could be even more. It's like what people think comes with having a lot of money. They think having a lot of money, all these problems are going to be fixed and things like that. All my prayers will be answered if I only had some money, and to a certain aspect, you could solve a lot of things, but spiritually, emotionally, mentally, you're still in the same situation.
Yeah, one of my favorite Pearl Jam lines ever. The song is called Soon Forget, and it's just Eddie Vedder with a ukulele. Nobody else playing any instruments or anything. But one of the lines is, it's all about a man who covets money over everything else. And the one line, now I forgot it. Shit. Oh, yep, brain fart. I'm going to have to come back to it if I even do. I'm going to go through the song here in my head. Oh, I don't know. Dang it.
Sorry.
But yeah, the whole song is about him, the guy that thinks that he's going to be happy because he has money. Oh, the line. The more you make equals the loneliness that you take. And the song is about this guy that lives up in this giant mansion on the hill by himself, and he counts his money every morning, and the town folk, they all laugh at him. He thinks that his Corvette is going to buy him happiness and love and all this other stuff, when in reality it just separates you even further from all that all happiness. Now, I don't know too many rich people that are truly happy. I don't know that many rich people to start off with, but the few people I do know that are really well off, they're always complaining, always, about something. it seems like those people that are always coveting money and trying to get more and more and more, they're the glass half empty type of people. There's never enough to quench that thirst.
Seeking
They're
Starwater
like
said it in
drug
chat.
addicts.
Seeking Starwater says there is never enough money for those who have it.
Perfectly said. It's worse than a drug, in my opinion.
I will say this. At times in my life where I had no money and things like bills, and diapers, and this, that, and the third, I was completely stressed out, losing sleep. Now I'm in a way better position, and even if I were to total, like for example, we just totaled the car, and I had another vehicle, and I had a few bucks still in my bank account. Like if I was broke and that situation happened, oh my gosh, I'd be a disaster. But having that extra money, it does put me at ease, at rest. But finding happiness, like it's not going to be for money,
Yeah. I was thinking about this morning even, and how many people would love to be able to just get a big piece of land, throw up some tiny houses on it, and start a little community.
Yes.
You know what that requires? Either a huge pile of cash or good credit and an income. But the only two ways you can inherit it, I guess. But even then, you're going to be inheriting something that requires property taxes and upkeep and all that stuff, that you're going to still require an income to pay for the things that need to be paid for daily living. And the only way to do that's working somehow. We've all been led to believe that giving our time over to make someone else rich in exchange for an ability to hopefully eke out a living, a survival, maybe get some saved, as opposed to just putting all that same work, working the land, hunting, fishing, growing your food, making the use of every little piece of product that you can come into so that you don't need all that money. But it's still work, not a job per se, but it still requires the time and the energy. But now it's yours. That's your time and your energy and the fruits of your labor. 100%. You'll be able to get in or get out what you put into it. And that's awesome, as opposed to being doled out a small fraction of what you put into it while everybody else takes their cut of your work.
You remind me when I was working for this guy cutting down trees. Yeesh. And he I was one of his crew leaders, and when I worked with him for years, and when I started work for him, he was living in a double wide in a trailer park, and parking all his equipment on the side of the house, on the side of the double wide. Fast forward years later, he's on 20 acres and living the good life, and it was all off straight up my back. Like that's, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna keep it real. I busted my ass and got his company to where it was, and I walked away because he wouldn't give me any type of pay increase or anything. So, and then I even tried doing my own thing, and he was going around trying to push me off the table. So it's real cutthroat out there, you gotta, and that's what's going on with everybody. They're all busting their ass, and it's getting someone else rich.
Yep. Because everybody's trying to look out for number one. They're all still locked in this paradigm of the shit that they see on television.
Yep.
Which is the same paradigm their parents were trapped in because of the shit they saw on television. And the paradigm shifts some, as we can see now from generation to generation. Every generation thinks that the younger generations are just absolutely bonkers. Their music is shit and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And it's often true that older generation, believe it or not, it's often correct. You younger kids, your music is shit. And when you get older, you'll see that next generation and how their music is shit. Of course, I don't know if you'll ever realize that mumble rap is shit, but whatever.
But, oh, you listen to that mumbo jumbo? They're like, huh?
Huh? I just don't mind. Exactly.
I'm so thankful I homeschool my children. That this next generation. Oh, Lord have mercy.
I'm thankful you homeschool your children too. I'm thankful for all the homeschooling parents out there. It's not an easy job. It's not like it's, this will be an easier thing to do, is just to pull my kids out of public school and teach them myself. So that's a
right
path of least resistance. Let's do it that way. No, it requires work and dedication and effort and commitment.
Yeah, shout out to my wife. She'd be putting in the work on that for sure. She's definitely, man, I wouldn't be able to do it without her. She's the glue to all this right here, over here. She's doing really good at it. She's really good at teaching them. I got some sharp boys.
Yeah, you do.
Thank you.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and I think we're going to see a lot more coming out of this generation that your children are in. Because I think there's so many more people homeschooling now. And that's just less indoctrinated zombies marching out of these centers that they call schools. Yeah, we were talking about this just over the weekend. I know I've said it before, but schools are not a place for smart people. They're not. For all these smart children out there that can use their critical thinking skills and common sense at a young age, it's just given to them, this God-given ability to learn and absorb this knowledge. If they're not indoctrinated into that system, just imagine what they're going to learn. What they're going to figure out, not being brainwashed.
It's lies. All fucking lies.
Yeah, I mean, it's taken us 7 years since at least me, since I've woken up, and I've learned something new every single day. I never thought I was like a super genius, but I always considered myself an intelligent person. If I were to go back and look at myself 7 years ago, I was a fucking moron.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Oh, man. I don't even want to do that.
Yeah, it hurts my brain to even try to think like that anymore. But it wasn't that I was stupid. I was trusting.
I was fucking stupid.
And that's how we are. I never believed in NASA, but I always, how could, not every scientist is lying. Maybe NASA and the space ones are, but it's not every scientist. But until you actually go try this stuff yourself, like you're going to do here this weekend, Austin, actually go and look and see for yourself if you can actually see over that curve, then you don't really know. That's why knowing is half the battle right there. Once you know, they can't tell you that it's not true anymore. You know it. in your heart, in that little voice in your head, is not going to be tricked again. I mean, if there was Earth Curve, it would be a first grade field trip to a beach or to some big body of water, and they'd be like, look, the Earth curves, there it is. Case closed.
Yeah, it's
But
pretty.
we never do that.
Keeping this from us, like man, it's, you know, why would they lie, right? But it's pretty obvious, because every single one of us who went through this journey and found this truth, whether it was on your own or from somebody else's research or information, it's a paradigm shift. It changes you, and then everyone's life has changed for the most part. I mean, I'll claim for myself that my life has changed for the better completely, and it wasn't until I knew where I was fucking standing in this reality and what was going on. Like, all of a sudden, I was able to receive information from, you know, the heavens above, and like all this thing. All of a sudden, it's like my body knew that Mars is connected to me, and all these other, this whole system, this huge Earth system, is all one system that I'm a part of. It's pretty crazy. It's a huge paradigm shift, you know. They trying to detach you from the creation, and that's what it's about. Because, you know,
yeah, they did a great job too.
Oh yeah, you're on a spinning ball. You came from monkeys. Dinosaurs used to be here, and a rock wiped them out. Came from the sky, killed them all. It happened to you any fucking day. Actually, there's rocks passing us right now. This very minute, zoom, you just missed it. Almost died. You didn't even know it.
Yeah, they take these senses that we use every day, you know, are these great gifts that we have, the ability to see and all this stuff, and they get us to totally ignore it. You know, they tell you that you're spinning right now and moving, but you don't feel yourself moving. You have to go against everything inside your body to believe what I used to believe. You know, you have to tell your body, no, you're wrong. You're just, you can't feel it. It's there. You aren't special enough, you know, to comprehend this place. You have to see it. It's amazing how programmable human beings are. And it's not that they're dumb, that we're dumb. It's that we're trusting.
There's information kept from us, plain and simple. And it's like, not only is it kept from us, but then they're giving us completely wrong information and presenting it as a stone cold fact. It's a complete mind fuck.
Yeah, and this whole
idea. It is a matrix, that's for sure. Big ass matrix.
There's these people out there that are just so much smarter than you. You know, I used to believe that stuff. And I know there are. Don't get me wrong. There's people whose brains are like supercomputers. The stuff they can do, it's amazing. But that doesn't mean that they're using common sense and logic. They're, you know, the trivium, the quadrivium, the ability to take in information and discern it for yourself. That's hard to, I think we're all born with that, and then they program that out of us. You know, Santa Claus is a great example. Well, no, there's no chimney there. It's just a pipe. How's that big fat guy going to fit down the chimney? You know, well, physics don't apply here.
That's the magic of Christmas. Just get into the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, they train us not to use common sense and logic.
The Christmas
and to
spirit.
believe
That's what it is.
in. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
you stop believing in reality and prepare yourself to believe the words that come out of my mouth. The Christmas magic. Because I'm going to lie my fucking ass off. And you're going to feel things that are amazing. The idea of Santa Claus and the fact that this magic man came and gave you these presents, which must be magic too, because they came with him. And this is now yours. This is now your magic present that the magic man brought. That's the Christmas spirit. Prepare yourself to believe any old shit that people say to you, because they're going to just lie out their ass. Hello, shelf, elf on a shelf, which is just more government mind control Here's the big brother to stand over and watch over you. And we as parents will wait until you're not looking, and we'll move him, and we'll use terrorism. This idea of fear, and that you're being surveilled, and that this creepy ass little elf is going to go run and narc on you and fuck up your gifts and laugh. Parents laughing at these poor little frightened kids because they know. Look at these dumb schmucks believing what I told them. Look, they believe this elf is going to go narc to Santa Claus. I'm going to move it, and they're going to freak out, and I'm going to laugh because they believe the lies I told them. Stupid kids. But that's the first half.
So yeah, in a way, parents are also being programmed.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, to lie to the children. Like it's okay and shit.
And the
that
commercialism.
it's okay.
Yep. Anyway, stick around. Who knows what the hell we'll talk about on the other side for hour number 2.
Censorship and regulation is becoming an ever-growing problem in today's modern media. From the mainstream to YouTube and Google, the information you're looking for is buried by official narratives and propaganda. This is why TFR is 100% uncensored, unregulated, and listener-supported. The shows on TFR are not micromanaged by the station, and our hosts are free to speak their minds however they please. As such, the views and opinions expressed on our station are of those who make them. If you happen to hear anything offensive on TFR, please send us an email to toughtitty@tfrlive.com, and we'll be happy to tell you that we really don't give a damn. We stand for freedom of speech and non-censorship. If you also stand for free speech, you can go to tfrlive.com/signup and sign up for a TFR supporter pass and help us in our mission to keep the airwaves uncensored and unregulated. TFR Live, your uncensored and unregulated protection from deception.
When I say climate change, what do you think of? Blah, blah, blah. There is no planet B. There is no planet blah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. We can no longer let the people in power decide. Blah, blah, blah. Did you hear me? What do we want? Blah, blah, blah. But it starts with blah. When do we want it? Blah, blah, blah. This is all we hear. What do we want? Blah, blah, blah. What do you think of? They say blah. When do we want it? Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. This is all we hear from our so-called leaders. Words that sound great, but just look at the numbers. We can no longer let the people in power decide. What do you think? Hope it's not blah, blah, blah. Of course, we need constructive dialogue, but they now have 30 years of blah, blah, blah. They invite therapeutic young people to meetings like this to pretend that they are listening. This is not about some expensive, politically correct green act. Blah, blah, blah. There is no planet B. There is no planet blah. No, that's better. Blah, blah, blah. The economy. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Did you hear me? What do we want? Blah, blah, blah. But it starts with blah. When do we want it? Blah, blah, blah. This is all we hear. What do we want? Blah, blah, blah. What do you think of? They say blah. When do we want it? Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Fighting climate change calls for innovation, cooperation. They say they want solutions, and then not holding leaders accountable for their action, or rather inaction. Blah, blah. We need to walk the talk. Blah, 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 blah. If this is what they consider to be climate action, then we don't want it. Blah, blah, blah. What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Blah, blah, blah. There is no planet B. There is no planet blah. That's better. Blah, blah, blah. The economy. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Did you hear me? What do we want? Blah, blah, blah. But it starts with blah. When do we want it? Blah, blah, blah.
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
We are TFR. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
It is Tuesday, my dudes.
Good morning. I'm here.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there. There was one? There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworks because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworks with Josh, Walt, and Zach. It's like sitting in your front room having a cozy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworks with Josh, Walt, and Zach, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworks on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Ironworld Media is the best on the planet. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to the Ironworks with Zach, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the Ironworks and become an Iron Scout.
I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, bitch.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Ironworks kicking off right now. The first half of the second half. For those of you that are fans of the first half of the second half of the Ironworks, congratulations, you've made it. I think that was Ian I might have seen in chat say something similar to the second half of the first half. Fans.
So have you noticed at all lately that they're kind of calling Elon out, but not really calling him out? They're just kind of admitting all his flaws. But it seems like they're coming in succession right now. So the whole Starlink satellite is flopping. Now they're saying that cats are the issue. Because these satellite dishes have a little thing to heat them up when it's so cold to get snow melted off of them. That wild feral outdoor cats are now gathering on top of them and interfering with people's signals. Those birds, and now it's cats, and there's people all over, everywhere, not just in the United States, but India. The head of Starlink in India quit. He's just sick of it. He's tired of getting blamed for them not having Starlink up and running and working. And then his the Cybertruck, you know, that ugly. I mean, who would drive around?
Oh my god, that thing's so ugly.
So ugly.
Oh, there are plenty of douchebags, I think, that would be more than happy to drive around as a status symbol of the douchebaggery.
But yeah, it'll be like those Hummer 2s that we saw there for a little bit. How long did that last?
In my experience, Hummers never last long enough.
But yeah, and then I just read an article on his tunneling system that he's doing, right?
He did a thing, company?
Yeah, his boring company. And it was first tried out in Vegas from one convention center to another. It was a mile long, cost $50 million, and was supposed to be able to transport 4,000 people an hour. This 1 mile tunnel length. It was supposed to be all automated cars, and it was supposed to be, you just go through the tunnel and jump out the other end, jump out of the car, carry 4 or 5 people at a time. None of the cars are automated, and the traffic is worse than it is on the streets overhead. Instead of 4,000 people an hour, it's doing about 1,200 people an hour. So it's no better than above. All the stuff he said that it was going to be doing years ago, mind you, none of it is being done right now. His cars are still running over the fake children they put out in front of it, hitting dogs in real life out on the road. These self-automated, self-driving cars. I saw a cop let a guy go because he called his car in a parking lot. It was an empty parking lot. And the car ran a stop sign. Now, a stop sign is not something out in the middle of the road that you're trying to avoid. A stop sign is, they're at a lot of intersections. If your car is not seeing a stop sign, there's an issue. But none of this stuff this guy is, said he was going to do is working. None of it.
So wait, there's a guy in the car, and he ran the stop sign and said that his car didn't brake for him?
No. He was outside of his car, calling his car to him. They have this thing now
on my
Teslas.
Goodness.
Like if you are at the grocery store and you don't feel like walking all the way to your car in the parking lot, you can call your car to come meet you.
We're fucking doomed, man.
Yeah. Well, the car was driving to the owner in an empty parking lot. Nobody around, nothing around. Not a leaf blowing across in front of its sensors.
Just walk to your car.
Right. Exactly.
Just walk to your fucking car. But I know this old ass dude, old as fuck, lives like 2 blocks from me, right? 2 blocks that way. My wife sees him all the time at the grocery store. Real nice guy. He rides his bicycle to the grocery store and then rides his bicycle back with all these fucking bags on his handlebars. I've done that. That's hard.
That's hard.
And he does it like a champ. Like, people want their cars to drive up to them. What a bunch of... Man.
Yeah, one of the coolest guys I ever knew. Nobody knew how old he was. I worked with him for years. But he was in his 70s, everybody believed. But he rode his bike to and from work every single day. Rain, snow, sleet, didn't matter. Had a Jaguar parked in his garage. Never drove it, probably in the last decade. He was in a real bad car accident where I believe he lost his wife. And he's never gotten inside another vehicle. He got hit riding his bike down the highway in a blizzard. Spiderwebbed this guy's windshield. The ambulance got there and all that, and he was already walking down the road carrying his bike. This guy's in his 70s. And he's limping down the road carrying his bike. The ambulance is like, "Come on, sir." You told him, "Get the fuck away from me."
Yeah.
He does not go to hospitals. None of that stuff ever. Yeah, just a cool, but he was the same way. He would ride his bike everywhere. If he needed to go somewhere far, he'd get a ride from somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can get around on a bicycle. It's amazing what you can do. Just imagine all the people who used to have to walk. Didn't even have the horse and carriage, let alone a car. I wonder if people had, I think there's a lot more cars out there than there were horses and carriage. It seems like the horse and carriage was probably like a middle class to upper class thing. Again, though,
Well,
that's
it
looking
depends. I
at
don't know.
his story. Yeah, that's looking at his story.
Yeah.
Imagine how limiting your life would be, Austin.
I mean, we had horses and carriages. We had that. I could fucking get around on that real quick.
but imagine your limitations if you grew up where you had to work somewhere, but your only mode of transportation was a horse. I mean, horses are much better than.
Awesome.
It would be awesome to an extent, but like if your only mode of transportation is a horse, how you get into Flatlandic? You taking off 3 months in advance to.
That's real.
Pack up your saddlebags. I mean, it is definitely limiting, but I wonder if there was if time seemed slower then, because you can't travel at 60 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour. Your only frame of reference is maxed out at a galloping horse's speed. So what's time going to be like if everybody's flying around in flying cars like Jetsons and they're doing 300 miles an hour up in the skyways?
Man, I've seen videos. I don't know how real they are, but I've seen videos of back in the day. They had little scooters and little like wheelie things they were riding and all kinds of, they had all kinds of shit that I've never seen before.
I saw an advertisement for an electric car from the 1857, I think it was.
Wow. Really?
Yep. It was an electric motor company who had built it. And they were sold. It wasn't like it was a prototype that never got made. There were electric cars on the road. Way back when. So yeah, I mean, who knows what the real story is. They've done a really good job scrubbing history.
Yeah, that's real.
And I think that's part of the game.
I think it has to be. I think if you were allowed to know too much truth in one section, I think you would quickly uncover the lies in all the other. That's why they have to tell you we live on a spinning ball. And it's why they have to tell you that people need politicians and people need a government. It's the only way to maintain that illusion of control. If you don't control it all, then it all comes crumbling down. It's all or nothing illusion. So they lie about our history. They lie about where we live. They lie about everything because that's the only way to maintain the illusion.
And the thing is, until you think about it, you never realize it, but it's so obvious with just a little bit of research. If you go back and look at the infrastructure in this country, the United States, the trains used to be able to do like 90 miles an hour on some of these tracks. And this was back in the 50s, 40s and 50s, 60s when they started making these really big train engines. These trains could fly around. Now they have to do like 35, 40, or else the tracks will disintegrate and break apart.
I don't want to interrupt, but did you see the train hit that airplane in LA?
Mm-mm.
So I guess there was a pilot who crash landed his little airplane. This was like, I'm not sure. It just makes me think that maybe it might have been a little staged. It looked real as hell, but just the timing was Hollywood-esque timing. So the plane crash lands and just happens to come to rest right on top of train tracks. And so there's like 5 or 6 cops. They're all there unbuckling them, trying to get the pilot out of the plane. And you can hear the train coming down the track, just horn blaring. And it's coming full speed. This shit ain't even slowing down. So there's maybe 3 or 4 seconds tops when they get him out and away from the plane before that train just blows right through the fucking plane on the tracks. It's some crazy footage. I'll see if I can't dig it up. It was nuts. This was
Like,
yesterday, day
could
before.
the plane not go any further forward? Did it have to stop there? Why would he stop right there?
Maybe landed might have been a little
rough.
Yeah, not the best choice of words on my part. The airplane crashed, and where it crashed and came to rest was on top of the train tracks.
Okay, that makes more sense. I was gonna say, like, couldn't he have just kept rolling a little bit further and not stopped on the track? But if he crashed, that would make sense.
Yeah, like I said, crash landed. Landed isn't exactly how he did it. It wasn't like an emergency landing. It was, fell from the sky onto the train tracks. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, did you know that the interstate systems, I know at least I-65, it runs from Northwest Indiana down to Key West. Well, right to, I think, Miami it ends. But the straightaways are each a quarter mile long. It doesn't make a turn. Every time it straightens out, it'll go for a quarter mile at least before it starts to turn again. And that's so planes can land like fighter jets in a case of a national emergency. And if all the air bases were taken out, fighter jets could land along that interstate and then take off again. They'd be able to, supposedly. They said that was one of the things, I-65. I think a lot of these interstates and all this stuff, I mean, I know we have built things in the last 100 years, but I think most of it was like the foundation for most of this was already carved out of the earth. You get to some parts of it, and I-65 isn't like Virginia and West Virginia and all that stuff where they come, Tennessee, where they come to a point there, Kentucky. I mean, they bored out whole mountains, like a range of a mountain, probably 500 yards wide, and just now you go down I-65, which was built.
Is it 65 or 75?
65 is the one I'm talking about. It runs through Indiana, and when you get down near Kentucky, they don't go through any mountains. You're like on a roller coaster. It's going up and down, big steep hills, and you can tell that was built recently. But 100 years ago, they didn't do that. You know, they didn't. They just went straight through. Which makes you wonder who built these things? I'm not buying it was horse and buggy and dynamite.
Yeah, dynamite, right?
Bullshit. Carrying away all that stone. Where did all that earth go? I'm not buying it. Yeah, I think so much of this country was already I think the rails, a lot of them were already here. You know, they say, oh, they had to build the railroad around Jesse James. They had to go around Missouri.
Oh, yeah.
I always
digging
wonder
it
about
up instead of putting them in. They're digging that shit up.
And they even show this in our movies. Like on Blazing Saddles, the very beginning. They're showing train tracks with 2 huge mounds on each side of them. And then a big, the train tracks are like 2 feet below the rest of the earth around
yeah,
it.
That's real. Yeah.
It shows you that we're not laying these things. We're just digging them up out of the ground. They're already there. And I think that's why our trains used to be able to travel so much faster on them. They were in much better shape back then. And we don't know what we're doing. Recreating it isn't a possibility. You know, it's like somebody found an old radio and got it to work.
Mm-hmm.
But all the dials and buttons weren't there, and there's missing, and we don't know what they're for or what's going on. I think there's so much probably still right in front of our faces. And it'll be people like Martin Liedka and Campbell, Autodidactic, all these types of people, John Levi, that are just finding all these little golden nuggets. And I think a lot of it still is still looking us right in the face. They are just so blatantly obvious. We just haven't made the connections yet.
So
Yeah, the place is amazing, dude.
So here's this crazy plane wreck / train wreck that I was talking about earlier. Let's see if I can't actually get this to work. Maybe unmute it.
Plane on Sunday and then running down the street before this happens.
Oh, wow.
Is
bro.
that
My
not
goodness.
nuts?
Local media reports say
Wow,
the pilot was taken
dude.
to an area hospital. No one
Like,
else
that's Hollywood timing.
My goodness. Local media reports
is
say the
insane.
pilot
Bro,
was taken to an area
That's
hospital. No
like
one else was
movie
hurt.
shit right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that shit blew my mind.
Huh. That dude looked fucked up, huh?
Apparently the plane crashed right onto the train tracks. So it was just like one tragedy after another.
Man.
I'd be real curious to see if that pilot
That's
survived.
bad energy right there. How are you going to crash a plane? Not only crash it, you landed on railroad tracks with a train on the way.
Yep. Like within sight. You can hear the fucking train. That's insane.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be going and buying any lottery tickets anytime soon. Need to let that shit pass. Yeah, we were talking about, I took the neighbor lady to go get her medication and stuff yesterday, and she was telling me about how her brother's a pilot. And he was one of those nut pilots that, you know, adrenaline junkies. And it got me reminiscent about, I knew one of these guys. He was a crop duster. And he offered to take me up, and I was like, yeah, right, dude, no way. But just watching, it's amazing how some people out there they love the idea of danger.
It does make you wonder. My uncle was a crop duster. I spent some time crop dusting for like farmers and stuff out in southern Texas, but then also worked for the DEA, crop dusting drug fields and killing them off as well. I think he flew some sorties over in Vietnam or something too, once upon a time. But was actually in South America or Central America, I forget which one exactly, but was in the process of acquiring his license to fly in the mountains, because you need to have a special certification to be able to fly and maneuver in the mountains. When I guess one of the engines failed, and he and the instructor that was giving him the test were involved, and the plane basically crashed into the side of a mountain, killed my uncle, but the instructor, surprisingly, managed to survive. That was back in like 92, I think. That was a hot minute ago.
Yeah, my aunt, to get over her fear of flying, she went and took pilot lessons and got her license and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't like flying.
Man, me neither.
I do. I don't do it at all, really, but I do rather enjoy the change of perspective. A little Dead Poet Society, oh Captain, my Captain. This is now me standing on the desk and changing the way I see the world. Type of thing. So I do enjoy it, but too much hassle these
What
days.
was the first thing you said when you first time you flew, when you went up there?
I don't remember.
What was the first thing you noticed?
The first plane ride I remember, I was young, and it was a red eye. So I don't remember a whole lot other than it being dark out and some ungodly hour. And it being relatively empty. So because it was dark, I don't really remember my first interaction on an airplane.
I was 8 years old, and I asked my dad, "Where's the curve?" I thought for sure I was going to, go up and see the curve of the Earth. I thought for sure. And I remember sitting there thinking, man, it looks really flat. I thought from this point of view, I was going to be able to, and I'll never forget that now. That's one of those memories that was gone forever until Flat Earth came around. Same one with when I asked my dad about the lunar lander. We were down there at Cape Canaveral, and I'm looking at the actual lunar lander, supposedly, and my first question was, well, where's the real one?
Where is the real one? Makes you wonder where the real
years old.
Ironworks. You were how old?
8.
It's crazy.
And I could tell that thing never went nowhere. It didn't even look like a TV prop. It was so bad.
That's nuts. All right, that does it. Stick around. We've got the fourth and final segment of the Ironworks coming up right after these brief messages. What a show. This has been lots of fun. Thanks, fellas. Much less meh than I was Friday.
Do not settle for the average. Average is the grave in which excellence is buried. Average people strive to fit in, while excellent people strive to stand out. You can never change what you accept. You can never change what you refuse to confront. If you keep pretending that mediocrity is your best, then you will never proceed to excellence. You were not born to be an average person. This, therefore, is the challenge. We need to inspire people to not settle even when they seem to be successful. As a matter of fact, the greatest enemy of progress is your last success. When you settle on what you've done and believe you've achieved everything, you have just begun to die. Excellent people never settle for the average. Develop a deep commitment to excellence.
Hey everyone, it's Chris Gio, founder of Truth Frequency Radio and host of Beyond the Veil. The mainstream media and establishment are running scared right now, and they've prominently featured truthfrequencyradio.com as number 89 on the federal government's hit list, also known as the fake news list, which is essentially a list of sites slated for censorship on Facebook, YouTube, Google, and other social media. Now is the time for you to get involved. Share your favorite TFR shows far and wide on forums and social media. Tell your friends and family about your favorite shows. If you're a business owner, get in touch with us to feature your product or service right here on TFR. And if you haven't done so already, become a TFR supporter now and get unlimited commercial-free downloads in high quality.
Visit truthfrequencyradio.com/sign-up.
Thank you for making TFR the leader in independent and uncensored talk radio. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection
From deception.
For 5,000 years, the world was ruled with wooden ships by one man. 242 years ago, a small group of free men crafted a new nation built on liberty and freedom. Global elites have been fighting to destroy this new nation called America ever since. Based on actual events, Charm of Favor tells a true story of how they corrupted the election system. They infiltrated federal agencies and murdered witnesses, judges, and even presidents to keep from being caught. Now, the largest and wealthiest crime syndicate the world has ever known has been drawn out of the shadows. They have killed hundreds of Americans and recently attempted to assassinate half our congressmen. Still, they escape arrest through an almost supernatural charm of favor. Read Charm of Favor and be prepared to open your eyes to what may lie just around the corner. Charm of Favor is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Real people, real radio.
Initiating the truth frequency.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
Well, pitter patter, let's get at her.
All right, Ramblers, let's get rambling.
Welcome back. Fourth and final segment of the Ironworks kicking off right now. Josh, Zach, and awesome Austin hanging out with you guys this morning, having a grand old time. First thing, this.
I heard that last night, and I was like, no way, that's where that's from.
Heard what?
All right, Ramblers, let's get rambling.
All right, Ramblers, let's get rambling.
Classic movie. Mm-hmm. I had no clue where it was from either.
Yep, that's it.
It wasn't like a big line in the movie or anything, you know?
Nope, but I did thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah.
That one in the Michael Madsen line, are you going to bark all day, little doggy? Or are you going to bite? So many great performances in the Reservoir Dogs. Great movie.
I don't know why I put it. I had trouble. I didn't get a nap in yesterday. I'm working on this old cast iron. Man, they don't make things like they used to. Neighbor lady found this old cast iron coffee table. Big, giant, thick piece of glass in it, and I'm going to redo it for her. I don't know what the difference is between paint from back in the day to paint now. But like paint now, you could strip it off anything, no problem. You could like scratch it with your fingernail half the time and the stuff comes off. I've got a wire brush on a drill going at this stuff. And some of this paint will not come off. To save, I'm going to have to go get a still wire brush because I'm using brass right now. But it's just not tough enough.
You got an air compressor, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
You can go on YouTube and you can make relatively easily your own little sandblaster with a little hopper full of sand, and it just shoots the sand out through the air hose. Real cheap, real easy. Little sandblaster ought to take care of it.
I'll have to look into that. Yeah, I know sandblasting is the way to go. But yeah, this old paint, man, it's like, it's on there. And it's hardy. It's thick. Whatever they used to do to paint, it used to be made to last like a long time. Yeah, it's just amazing. When you work on stuff that's older like that, you notice these things, how much things were built to last at one point in time. And now it seems like things are made to, if you don't sell it, it's all right. It didn't cost us that much. We'll just go throw it out. Start filling up a landfill with the stuff. I know back in the day they said it was the automobiles that did it. You know, back in the day every car was black. And they lasted a while, you know. All the parts were built to last. Big cast iron and steel and, materials that are made to withstand the elements. And then they decided, well, you know what? People aren't buying a car quick enough. They're lasting too long. So we're going to start, let's start making different colors and give people options to pick from. And maybe they'll have this one for a couple years, but then in a couple years, they'll want a different color maybe. So we'll give them all these different options so they change it up even more. They're not happy with the same old. And they started coming out with different models every year. And it wasn't just automobiles that did this. And then soon the refrigerator companies started catching on. And your appliances. And we're going to make these in all different colors and have different things and upgrade them every year. And yeah, it's just a totally different mindset. It's all based on money. Not a better way of life. All of it is based on money nowadays. We could build things nowadays that actually lasted so long, so much longer than they do. But it's so much cheaper to just build it out of plastic, right?
Speaking of building pieces of shit, the Space Webb Telescope, I seen an article the other day, it made me laugh, says that they have officially turned on their radiator to keep cool in space.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I hear one side is like negative hundreds and the other side is 55 degrees or something like that.
Yeah.
As
a radiator did.
I saw an article yesterday. They were talking about why they don't have cameras on the James Webb Telescope to monitor things. Well,
What'd they say?
NASA, a picture isn't really worth 1,000 words, I guess. They said it would either have to be zoomed in, and they were talking about cables. For some reason, they would need cables connecting all this stuff now. Have they heard of Wi-Fi and all that stuff?
Yeah, wait a minute. Aren't they sending shit to Earth from this telescope? But they can't.
Well, no, they said that they would need cables on the telescope, not connected to Earth, but just, I don't know if there's...
Right, that's what I'm saying. They can't get the cameras to work right there, but they can send shit back to Earth. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, it's... Or the angle would have to be so wide that we wouldn't really be able to see anything anyway. But we have all these sensors all over it that tell us everything that's going on, which is much more efficient. And true, some of that I could see, but wouldn't you put one camera on there just for shit?
What the hell? Why wouldn't you put a camera on there?
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me. But there's another reason, and people buy it,
Because for NASA, a picture is not worth 1,000 words. 1,000 words from NASA is so much more convincing than any photo that they put out. I heard that they were growing lettuce in space for the first time.
Yes! Go NASA!
Space tacos. Which is also a term I hear they use for female astronauts. Sorry, go ahead, Zach.
Have you heard of the Celine 5 crew?
Nope. Sounds like Celine Dion and Backstreet Boys got together. The Celine 5.
So I guess they're on some Hawaiian island, right near a volcano, and they're doing a lunar base out there. They can't walk outside unless they have their spacesuits on and things like that. So they're training to be on the moon. Somewhere in
Oh
Hawaii,
my gosh.
isolated crater. Yeah.
I just did I was once every couple of weeks, I'll make an attempt at trying to edit some old stuff before I get frustrated and quit. And the show I was making an attempt to edit this past weekend was, I don't even remember when it was from, but it was maybe 2017. I'll tell you, I was still telling Zach hello in chat for whatever that's worth. Zach and Salamo were about the only two people we were talking to in chat back in the day. But it was a story of some people in Russia. And it was a story of how they survived even the headline had a quote, trip to space. And it was basically them being isolated and simulating a trip to the moon is what it was. It was a lunar simulation. I just thought it was funny that they were still needing to make these astronauts have to simulate launch and landing and survival and exploration on the moon and everything simulated here on Earth, of course. But that they can't seem to be able to do it in real life.
Hey, Mike found this photo. Shout out to Mike, TAC. He found this photo that claims to be, it's from NASA, and it's a photo of a group of people who helped work on the Space Webb telescope. Supposedly it's a group of people that worked, put it in vacuum chamber A and tested out in the vacuum chamber, supposedly, right? Well, when you look at this photo, it's complete, like these people, it's a photo of this group of people standing in front of chamber A. And it is so fucking obvious that these people are photoshopped into this picture completely.
Maybe not all of them. Because
to me, they look like all of them. I don't see any shadows. The dude leaning on the door
looks like
definitely not. The hard hat dude, definitely not.
No, the guy on the far left in the dark, he was obviously photoshopped, and the guy leaning up on the door was obviously just like pasted up on there somewhere. Like, we'll cock him a little, make him look like he's leaning. We're good.
The one guy in the hard hat, completely photoshopped, and just one person in a hard hat. Everyone else, no hard hat. It's one person.
See if I can.
So weird. It makes me think: was there even a group of people that worked on this fucking thing? You know, it's just weird. Like,
you can even see, like,
I put it in the Ironworks chat.
Perfect.
Yeah, you can even see in the floor. There's a couple people, like their legs. You can see that.
But they don't look real. It doesn't look like a real shadow.
No, not like a shadow, like their glare off of this highly polished.
Yeah, but is that real? That doesn't look like a real
it's not doing it with all of them, for sure.
No, right.
It's doing it with a couple of them. It's weird. That is such a weird picture. Yeah, and the guy leaning. Good Lord.
He is not leaning on that fucking door, dude.
No.
Look at the guy in the hard hat, Zach. Look real close. The guy in the hard hat
stands out like a sore thumb. The lighting is different on him.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a bad picture. Now, why would they even do that? You couldn't have got a group of people. They didn't even have to work on the thing. You just tell them, hey, we're going to take a group picture. Come stand in front of this thing. You don't have to tell them why. You don't have to tell them.
Someone said to me that that's what it was, that, you know, they can't get everyone in for a group picture, so they have to Photoshop people into it. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? They got all these people working here. They can't round them up for a fucking photo shoot. You serious?
How many
I don't know.
videos do you see of NASA people dancing around into music? You tell me they don't have time to take a photo, but they can make music videos? Choreographed music videos? It's not like they're just jumping up and making a video all willy-nilly. I mean, they're all moving the exact same way. This is
like the guy in the black shirt on the far left. The guy in the black shirt on the far left. Look at his shoulder. Look at his shoulder. It's completely... He's photoshopped in there, man. It's crazy. The hard hat dude. Even the bald guy with the green on the far left, the bald guy standing in front, he's photoshopped on top of those other guys.
Just so bad.
Is that guy even really leaning on that pipe up there, dude? He had his arm up on something else. They photoshopped him right out. I'm telling you, dude, it's so weird.
The resolution is horrible.
It's terrible, dude. It's
oh man. Yeah, this is, you know,
very weird.
And they know 99% of the people aren't going to take a second glance at it. They'll see the picture and be like, oh, okay, a group of people that worked on this. Gone. But if you actually just take 10 seconds and look at it real close, you know, you should start asking yourself some questions.
That guy is not leaning on that fucking door. Great, dude.
Just bad. Just, oh man, all that money, and what are they doing with it?
Like, see these reflections on the floor? Those are pretty good. That's detail I wouldn't really expect to see. But when you come to the guy in the hard hat, of course, he has no reflection on the floor. He must be vampire. Same
look
guy
at the
with...
black. Okay, look at the black guy 2 people over from the hard hat. He's photoshopped in there, dude. Black guy with the ball cap. Like that. Oh man, so weird. I see what you're saying. There's some reflections you can see, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like they could just shade shit. It looks like, because it looks, the floor doesn't even look. It looks kind of like washed out a little bit when you're zoomed in. I don't know. It could be because you're zoomed in on it.
And you know that reflection would be really easy to do. It's not complicated at all.
Right.
And even the less you do, kind of the more realistic it is.
Yeah.
You know, obviously this chamber A is, you know, you would think is a real place. I've seen videos of these chambers. You know, they have these vacuum chambers, but man, these people are photoshopped in front of it. That's
that door makes that chamber look way bigger than the Sandusky one, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does. And a part of me, that door looks a little funny too, but you know, I'll stick with the people. Like the bottom of the door looks a little funny around where the people are. Just saying.
Okay, so I found this article.
It looks like a bucket lid.
That's what I thought. The inside of a bucket lid.
And you would know.
It looks exactly like that. Like the paint bucket?
Uh-huh.
Yep. Right there.
That's all they did. I think the whole fucking thing is a composite.
Look at the logo on the door. Like, is the logo even really on that door?
No, that's one of the things that first caught my eye as someone who has done that sort of Photoshop work. If you go back to our really early Ironworks days when I had time to hang out after a show and put together a thumbnail, I would have all sorts of fun putting our logos on different things and putting texts on different things and trying to get it to contour and get it to look like it was supposed to be there or blended in naturally. Or, I mean, I used to have a whole lot of fun playing in Photoshop doing the thumbnails, and that caught my eye. I was like, is that like legit? Because it's something about it just didn't. The coloring is off, or maybe the lighting is off because you have all the specular highlights everywhere else. But that something about that logo just seemed off to me. And now it's like, I don't know, here's my dryer with the door open, and I'll Photoshop this paint can lid over top of it, and I'll throw a NASA logo on it. And I'll make it really big, and I'll bring in these people, and I'll Photoshop them really small, so it makes my paint lid look really big.
The logo's on the door in all these pictures I'm bringing up, but man, that photo. See, I don't know. The door looks
well, it definitely looks bigger than the Sandusky vacuum chamber, which I was always under the assumption was the largest one, at least here in the United States. Wasn't that always the case? I mean, that vacuum chamber like dwarfs
Looks huge, right?
Enormous.
So I bet you that's at least 60, 75 foot tall. If you figure 6 foot for the guy leaning there up against the bottom, you know, I mean, if you could see his feet, they probably wouldn't be touching, but.
Oh, that's so bad.
I bet you that's at least 60, 75 feet tall. I don't know how big Sandusky is. But.
So did you guys hear that space may be pixelated? The universe itself may be pixelated.
Sure.
They would say that. They would fucking say that just to cover their asses.
Because they zoomed in as far as they could, and what they saw was pixelated. Well, it must be true.
Well, and here's the rub. The pixels would be so small that if you were to enlarge things so it becomes the size of a grain of sand, then an atom would be as large as a galaxy. So they can't see a fucking atom. But they're going to blow it up to the size of a galaxy and then say something the size of a grain of sand is there. This is Caltech. This is how far we've fallen. Now, they do use the word may. So, yep. Covered their tracks right in the headline. But this is just ridiculous, folks. And they publish this stuff. It would be hard. There was this group out there. They showed how published by putting nonsense. Just it was all about transgenderism and this and that, the science behind it, and they made up the craziest arguments that they could on purpose, and they did, I think, like 15 of them, and they had 7 of them published in one. And the only reason 6 of them, other ones, were on their way, but they got caught. They finally realized what they were doing. But 7 ridiculous articles that were meant to be satire made it through the publishing process. And this is like a year-long, 18-month-long process to get a paper published. Because it's got to go through peer review and this and that and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, they say it takes these doctors, these people with all these letters before or after their name, to get one paper published a year is a grand achievement because of all the research and all this stuff that goes into these guys. 7. And it was all nonsense they just made up. So that shows you how hard it is to really get published. Now, if you're trying to speak true, you're going to have some issues getting published. But if you just want to make up some nonsensical bullshit that can't be disproven, can't prove it, but it can't be disproven either, then yeah, we'll publish that shit all day. Sorry, I didn't even mean to rant there, but it's just ridiculous. And then they say, well, you've never been published, so you're obviously not that smart, don't know what you're talking about. Well, there's a great example of how easy it can be to get published, play the game right. Yeah, oh, science. Well, that almost wraps it up.
Real close. We get about 2 minutes, I think, before we get up out of here.
You see that other picture I put in there? You want to pull that up real quick? Let the audience see that other one. If you look closely, somebody was there someone else was there at Chamber A.
Whoa. That was amazing. He just appeared out of nowhere.
Is that you? Dave hanging out with NASA. Confirmed. He worked on the James Webb Telescope with all these other people. And he looks just as real as all the other ones do. That's the sad part.
Oh, shit.
Someone should go through and just put a whole bunch of people. A whole bunch of people standing in there.
Here's Jimi
and then
Hendrix.
share it with non-flat earthers and see if they notice.
Here's Epstein.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think he made himself look taller than what he is.
Yes, Stephen, you were there too.
We could start taking selfies with Stephen Hawking all around the earth. Go on tour.
I'm going to take one with me leaning up against his wheelchair like that guy on the door.
We could have a giant Stephen Hawking where we're all like as big as his shins around his chair. That's the crazy part. Love y'all.
Love you guys. Thank you so much, everybody. Check out Awesome Austin's channel. Check out The Mellow. Check out Wake and Bake. Check out everything Awesome Austin does. Check out realmelodome.com. Check us out right back here Friday morning for another episode of the Ironworks right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. Be good, be well. We love you. Bye-bye.